Okay, so find a comfortable place to rest on your back with either the legs extended or the knees bent and dropping in on one another in a constructive rest. Feel free to use any props that you have. And then just make any adjustments here so that you can rest comfortably for the next couple minutes. And take a couple cleansing breaths here. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling, letting it out the mouth. A couple more. Inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. With each exhale, allow your body to get a little bit heavier. One more. And then come into that breathing in and out through the nose. Without changing anything, just notice how your body's landed. Does one leg feel heavier than the other, one hip? Are the hands palm up or palm down? Are they the same or different? Feel the shoulders. Is there space in the neck? There's no right or wrong way to be. We're just simply taking a moment to notice how we might habitually land in our bodies. And then once we pay attention to that, once we notice that, we can consciously make adjustments so that our body can be more at ease. And that's what we're looking for right now, just a place of ease in our body. With all the unrest in the world, especially in our country right now, super important to give ourselves time, even if it's just this hour of time, where you can let all of that information, that news go. Just let your awareness and your attention be focused on yourself, on your own breath, on nourishing your own body, your own mental health, knowing that all of that will still be there. And hopefully when we emerge from this practice, we emerge feeling stronger. We emerge feeling more rooted in our humanity and in our deepest selves and our heart of hearts, moving from that place of love and compassion. Before we can take that out into the world, we need to turn that love and compassion to ourselves. So for this next hour, as we move through this practice, moving with that intention, compassion and love and awareness. So settle on the breath. Settle on that sensation of the inhale and the exhale, in and out the nose. Settle on the sound of the breath as you find that slight constriction at the back of the throat in your Ujjayi breath. Allowing the nervous system to start to decompress as that breath becomes slower and deeper. Allowing our bodies to drop into this place of rest and digest. See if you can soften even a little bit more in your face and your jaw and your fingers and your toes and your belly. Really allowing that breath to become fluid, rhythmic. The sound becomes like a mantra. The rhythm becomes this meditative breath. And then let your hands come to rest right on one on your heart and one on your belly. You feel that love and that compassion for yourself. And anything else, any other intentions you want to create or you want to set for yourself for today. Take this moment to do that. And then from here, you're going to take your fingers right up to your jaw. And right in that hinge of the jaw, and I'm just kind of taking my middle finger and take some little circular movements in that spot. And you might even draw the fingers down the jaw, kind of find what feels good in that space. You might open and close the jaw a few times as you put a little pressure there. Most of us will have some tension. And then start to let, once that feels like you've had enough or it feels somewhat complete, take the fingers up into the hairline and start to massage right along the scalp. And then maybe even take the fingertips all the way into the scalp and give yourself a little scalp massage. Might not feel nearly as good as when somebody else does it, but it's still helping to soften the fascia in the scalp, which runs down into your jaw and into your shoulders. So run along the whole hairline, giving yourself this self-love and massage. You guys okay? And then from there, release the hands down and just feel the sensation in your scalp. There might be some tingling, maybe even in your fingertips too. And then let the head start to drop side to side. So drop one ear to the mat and then the other ear to the mat. So there becomes this kind of massage across the back of the head, the base of the skull. And then once your head drops to one side, take the other hand and run along the base of the skull. So right in that ridge, that occipital ridge there, right where the skull meets the neck. And you get to decide how much pressure you apply there. Sometimes it can be really tender. So feel into that. And then from that ridge, take that same hand and just run the length of your neck. Maybe even into the top of the shoulder, the trap. So we're just doing a little self-massage here. We will also stretch, but for now, we're starting in this place of nourishing. And then once that side feels complete, take a moment and just feel right in center, feel both sides. And then let the head drop to the other side and take that opposite arm up. Work maybe the thumb in that ridge, base of the neck and the skull. And then maybe the fingers run down the neck into the top of the shoulder. And you can use your fingers and your thumb to kind of create this grip to squeeze the traps, the top of the shoulders there. That can feel really nice. Or you can even use the heel of the hand and then the other fingers to squeeze up. That can even go all the way up into the whole neck. And then when you're done there, go ahead and release that. And then from here, separate or if the legs are extended, go ahead and bend the knees and separate the feet a little wider than your hips. Just let the arms float out to the side, resting on the floor, and start to windshield wiper your knees side to side. Let it be slow. So as you're moving, there's also this feeling of pressure, massage across the sacrum, low back, and even into the side of your glute. And just side to side here. Okay. And then come through neutral. Actually, come over slightly to one side and kind of stick your arm under your bum. And then come over to that side, stick your other arm. So you're pinning your fists under your bum cheeks. And then keep them there and come back to that windshield wiper. It's like a little self-massage in your glutes and in your outer hip. And if it feels like too much on your wrists, you don't have to, obviously, of course, don't have to do it if it doesn't feel good. And if it does feel good and it feels good to pause on one side, do that. Pause on one side and let the knees get heavy and let the weight of your hip and glute press into the knuckles in the top of the hand. So I have a fist, but with the palms facing towards the floor. And then come over to the other side and see how that feels. Let the knees heavy. So this is also going to be a massage for your wrists and your forearms a little bit. And then maybe that side to side. And then gradually you can let the arms come out from underneath you as you're ready. Flip the palms up and then open the hands so you're stretching out the fingers and then make a fist. And then in the fist, curl your knuckles in towards your forearms and then open the hands again. And then maybe lift your wrists so that the fingers are pointing towards the floor and the palms are up, and then release and make a fist. And then just take the arms straight up over the shoulders and roll out the wrists. And go the other way. And then take the right knee up and in towards your chest and interlace those hands around your knee or your shin. Draw the shoulders down from the ears, and then you can keep this left leg bent or straighten it out and send the heel away from you, drawing this right knee towards you. And get a nice tight grip so that you're breathing into that right hip. You're breathing into the right side of the belly, massaging the abdomen, sending the breath into that hip flexor. And then start to windshield wiper the knee left to right. And go as slow as feels good. The tempo that feels good for your own body. And then we're going to land with that leg all the way over to the right and then draw the knee back up into the shoulder. Keep energy in the feet here. And then bend your left knee, and set the foot on the floor. Keep your right knee in your right hand. Slide your left hand down so that it grabs either the top of the ankle or the heel. Either way, flex the foot and start to draw the foot toward your face and send the knee away from you. So you're like in this reclined pigeon, your shin parallel to the floor pretty much. Keep energy in this foot, especially in those second and the last two toes. And you're just drawing the shin a little closer to your chest. Good. Keep that flex in that right foot and then bring your left thigh up to meet your outer right ankle. So you land in this figure four, flexing that right foot still. Press that left knee into your outer right ankle and slide your hands through your legs. So right hand between the legs, left leg, hand outside the left leg. And either around your thigh or your shin and start to draw that left leg towards you. Keep drawing your right knee out and away and breathe in your glute here. And then maybe even rock a little side to side if that feels good. Good. And then from here, keep that left leg up, but if you can, slide your right leg all the way across so that the knees are actually stacking. And then hold on to your knees and slide your hands down the top of the shins, holding either your shins or your ankles. Flex all 10 toes and draw the heels towards your outer hips and in towards you. So they're moving to the sides, out to the sides, and then knees are moving in toward your chest. And then from here, keep the legs crossed as they are. Squeeze the inner thighs together and then also start to squeeze your outer shins together as if you were going to be in an eagle, and maybe you take that second class, but that's not really necessary. Slide your hands behind your head and your neck and keep your knees right above your hips. Now, if this feels like too much, unwind the legs or hold the back of the thighs. That's fine. So what we're going to do is start to get into the core a little bit. So take an inhale, lengthen your tailbone, squeeze those inner thighs together, squeeze your outer shins together, and exhale, just curl your head and shoulders up. And then let the weight of the head drop back into the hands, pull your navel to your spine, and lengthen your tailbone towards the end of your mat. Keep squeezing your legs together. Good. Now keep your head and shoulders up, keep your belly engaged, unwind the legs. Good. Now from here, Take your right leg up. You're still lifted in your head and shoulders and down in the belly, and extend both legs. So this left leg can stay with the knee bent. It can stay relatively high, or it can hover right above the ground. Or the foot can be on the ground. So you have lots of options. You want to find a place where you're feeling your belly engaged, but you're not compromising your back in any way. Then wherever you are, go ahead and bend the left knee, set it there. Keep the right leg up and slide the left leg long, and then set your right foot on the top of the thigh, set your head and neck down and extend your arms. And on the exhale, you're just going to drop that right knee over to the left. Keep the right shoulder down to start with. Send the right hip away from you, and that right foot can come to the floor outside the leg if that feels good, or it can rest on the inner leg, whatever feels better for you. And then we're actually going to let that knee, if it feels okay on the shoulder, now if it compromises your shoulder at all, stay where you are. And if it feels okay, let that knee drop towards the floor. Your shoulder will come off the ground a little bit. You can cactus the arms to release a little bit of that tension. We're taking this a little bit more into the hip. So that right knee comes towards the floor. And then send your right hip away from you. And the right arm can be overhead. It can be cactused on the arm, or it can be down on the floor, whatever feels okay on the shoulder. And then go ahead and unwind that. Set your right foot to the floor. Readjust your shoulders so they're back in line with the hips. And draw your left knee in, interlace your hands around the left shin or around the left thigh, and draw it in towards your chest. Energize the feet. And then right leg can stay bent, or right leg can extend with the heel pressing away and the toes towards you. Press your thigh bone down and roll the inner thigh down as you hug your left knee into your chest. Creating a little compression in the left side of the belly. Keep that breath fluid and deep. And then find that windshield wiper, left, right. Just moving a little bit into that hip joint. And then once the knee comes all the way over to the left, hug it back into the left shoulder. Keep anchoring your right thigh bone down and energizing all 10 toes. From here, slide your right foot in so the foot's flat on the floor and the knee's bent. Keep the left knee in the left hand side, the right hand down the shin. Hold the top of the ankle or hold the heel, but either way, flex the foot. And you're going to let the left knee swing out to the left and the left ankle swing in towards your chest, coming into that kind of reclined pigeon. And then move a little bit here, stay static. Keep energy in those toes. And then start to draw your right knee up until the top of the thigh hooks in with your outer left ankle. And then as you press your right thigh towards you, press your left ankle and left knee away from you. And then slide the hands through and grab around the back of the thigh or the shin, whichever feels better. As you draw your right knee towards you, think about sending your left knee out to the left and also away from you. Then release whatever clasp you have, unwind the arms and let the knees stack on one another. As best as you can, slide your hands down your shins for the tops of the ankles, or you can grab onto the bottom of the heels. Send your heels out side to side and draw the knees in towards you. And there's a little toning in the inner thighs. They're squeezing together. Okay, then release the ankles. Keep that interlacing or that winding of the legs, and then squeeze them together more and squeeze the shin bones together, or unwind as we come into that ab work, so you choose. Take the hands behind you, interlace in the opposite clasp this time. Inhale, lengthen your low back, pin your navel down to your spine, and exhale, curl your head and shoulders up. Now squeeze your thigh bones together, squeeze your shin bones together, and lift the head and shoulders. Let the weight of the head drop back into the hands so there's space between your chin and your chest. Your navel is drawn in and your back is long. There's energy in all 10 toes. Then unwind the legs. Keep that length in the tailbone and the pressing in the back and the lift in the head and shoulders. And then from here, extend that left leg. Maybe extend the right leg. Maybe lower the right leg. Or you can have the foot on the floor as another option. Good. Then set the foot down, the right foot down, set the head down. Now bend the left knee, straighten the right leg, and set that left foot on top of the right thigh. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, let that left knee drop over to the right. To start with, keep the back of the left shoulder anchored. Send your left hip away, and again, that foot can rest on the inner leg or on the floor or stay on the thigh, whatever feels okay. Send your breath up the spine. And then we're going to let that knee drop all the way over. So you might start by cactusing the arm or taking it up overhead and letting that knee drop all the way over. So there's just no tension on this shoulder. And then inhale and unwind that. Set both feet down again. Realign the hips with the shoulders and bring both knees into your chest. Hold onto the knees and rock yourself side to side. Or you can also hold behind the thighs if that feels better for your knee joints. Okay, I'm going to start to make our way up. So you can roll to the side and press up, or you can start to rock yourself front to back and roll yourself up. We're going to start seated. So if sitting leads to a rounded spine or your knees super high, sit up on something, a block, a book, a pillow, a stack of blankets, something. Take your left leg and stretch it out with the toes out and the toes up and the heel down, knee facing up, and take your right sole of the foot to the inner thigh. Inhale here. And then take the left hand right inside that left leg, sit up tall as you inhale, and on the exhale, spin your navel towards that right knee, and then inhale, lift your right arm, lift your torso, and on the exhale, start to lean over to the left as you bend that left elbow inside your left leg. Inhale, lift your heart, keep active in those toes, and exhale, spin your ribs open. Then you can stay right here. Arm can be bent, or you can start to straighten it out for a little bit more stretch. Keep sending that right knee out and down. And then if it's available to you, you're going to bend the elbow and cradle the base of the skull right in your hands. So the thumb wraps around one side and the other four fingers wrap around the other side. And then inhale, lift the chest again, and as you exhale, drop the weight of the head into your hands to really open up that right side body. Stay deep in your breath, fluid, soft in your gaze and in your jaw, muscles in the face, soft. And then let your neck take the weight of the head again. Extend the arms, start to turn your gaze down towards your left thigh, start to rotate your torso down towards your left thigh, right hand comes down. Left hand now moves outside the leg. Inhale, get long here, take the shoulders back, and as you exhale, just take a little hinge forward. Think about spinning your navel towards your thigh and extending your heart towards your toes and extending or drawing your toes back towards you. Walk yourself up. From here, you're going to take this right leg and move the foot away from you so that you can bring your left foot or left leg directly in front of your hip, and then take your right ankle at this figure 4 crossed on top. So your shins parallel to the top of the mat. And then from here, you're going to take your hands and massage your feet. So you might take the thumbs into the arch of the foot. You might squeeze along the rim, the heel, even into that Achilles tendon and ankle. You might pull on the toes, crack them, stretch them out. You might move the fingers between the tendons. You can even kind of twist the foot. That can feel good. Squeeze the foot, whatever feels good for you here. And then once you're done with that, or that feels okay, flex the foot, set the hands behind you as a kind of a kickstand. Lift your heart and drop your shoulders. Some of you, this is already going to feel like enough stretch in that hip. For those that could take a little bit more, you're going to start to slide that left heel in. And you get to decide how close or how far it stays. Try and keep the heart lifted, and then press your chest towards your shin bone and your shin bone towards your chest. So just a different version of that figure four. Good. And then re-slide that left leg out. Now take your right foot and just set it down outside that left thigh. And if that's not available, set it right inside the left thigh. Then take the right hand behind you to kickstand. Take the left arm, stretch it up, stretch out to your left toes, inhale. And on the exhale, rotate to the right. Take your hand and wrap it around your knee. So you're using your arm to draw your thigh in towards your torso. Inhale, you're sitting up tall, both sits bones even on the earth. And the exhale draws your core to the midline as you rotate to the right. Now your gaze can stay right over your chest, or if your neck is wanting a little stretch, you might take the gaze up and over the shoulder to what feels good. And then inhale and unwind. Help that leg uncross and send that right leg out and set the left sole of the foot on the inner thigh. Inhale, sit up tall here. Set the right hand inside the right leg, and on the exhale, spin your navel towards your left knee. Inhale, stretch your left leg, left arm to the sky, and as you exhale, start to reach over to the right as you bend into that right elbow. Drop the shoulder out of the ear, stretch your arm to your toes, stretch your toes to your ear, or to your fingers. Inhale, lift the heart, and exhale, spin the ribs open. And then either stay here or bend the elbow and catch the back of the head in your hand and spin the ribs open. Deep breaths. And then we're going to let the weight of the head come back to the neck, release the arm, start to spin your gaze down, your torso down, your arm down. Right hand comes outside the leg. Take an inhale, extend the heart forward, and on the exhale, navel towards that right thigh and heart forward. Toes back. Breathe. You're welcome to come with us. I can't even ride my horse. Okay, from here. Inhale, walk yourself up. We're going to move this left leg out and bring the right leg right in front. Cross the ankle over for that figure four and come into that massage in your foot. And just stay massaging that foot for a second. There's a bowl of crackers for each of you, and there are oranges in the fridge. Okay? There's exactly the same amount in each one. Okay. Sorry about that. So, after you've massaged that foot, take the hands behind you, flex it, create that kickstand, shoulders back and heart lifted. Start to drag your left leg in. Lift the heart, drop the shoulders, press your chest towards your shin, and breathe. On the other side, right? Ow, ow, ow. Oshi. Okay, from here, extend the leg. Set your foot down flat, kickstand that arm behind you, and inhale, stretch up tall. And then on the exhale, belly in, hug that knee in and rotate to the side. Inhale, lift and lengthen, exhale, and rotate. Every inhale gets you longer and taller. Every exhale draws you to the midline as you rotate. And then inhale and unwind. Good. From here, we're going to come onto our hands and knees. So however it works for you to land there, bring your wrists right under your shoulders and your knees right under your hips. Bring awareness into your hands. So you're gripping through your fingertips and you're pressing through the padding at the base of the knuckles. And that space between index and thumb, and then lifting in the arches. Spin your biceps forward. Tone your low belly, and then as you inhale, let the tailbone rise. Pause there. So you're tipping your pelvis forward, your belly staying toned. And then start to let the ribs open a little bit. Start to lift your heart, drop your shoulders, and then take that extension all the way up into the crown of the head. And then on the exhale, start by curling the tailbone. Pull your navel in strongly. Start to round through your mid, upper back, press into your hands, and let the head drop down. And then close the eyes and start to find your cat-cow. Inhaling as you open the front of the body, and exhaling as you round and open the back of the body. Deep breaths. And then stay with that cat-cow, inhaling and exhaling. You guys can also put some frozen fruit in your bowls and go outside and play. Yeah, and the toothpicks are right in that drawer, okay? Better? Okay. Okay. I'm multitasking here. Come back to neutral spine on the inhale. Go ahead and send your right leg back with the toes on the floor. Press into the heel. Lift up through the back of the right leg. Good. And then kick your left leg out to the left and spin your right foot flat. Come up onto your right fingertips and start by lifting your left hip into your right and pressing into the outer edge of the right foot. And then see if that right arm can stretch up to the sky. And as you press that right arm up, you press your right hip up and you press into the outer edge of your right leg. Now spin your palm towards your head and reach over your ear like you're bowing out your right ribs here. Good. And then from here, you're just going to take that arm down, around, spin it to the floor, come back to your fingertips, roll back to your toes, and then let that hand come flat. Left foot comes behind you, press back into the heel. And then shoulders over the wrists, firm into the core, ribs in belly, and lift that right leg. From here, let the knees come next to one another and hover that right knee. So you're kind of sucking that femur up into the hip. And then take the leg straight out to the right and then continue that circle till the foot comes up and then knee to knee. And then take it out to the right, spin it up, and bring knee to knee. Now we go the other way. Kick the foot up, spin it out to the side, bring it in. Kick the foot up, spin it out to the side, bring it in. Okay, From here, inhale, stretch that leg back again. Exhale, lift on your fingertips, and then we're gonna bring that right foot all the way through. And if you need to come up to do that, or if you're on blocks, that's fine. You can sit up and do that. We're gonna land in this lunge. And we're kind of short in this lunge. So curl your left toes under and send your knee back. Keep your right knee over your ankle. Stay lifted on your fingertips or up on your blocks or water bottles or books, whatever you have. Lift the heart, drop the shoulders. Okay. Press into your left shin. Squeeze the back shin and front foot together. And then take your right arm inside your right foot. Take your right foot out to the right and the right toes even more out to the right, so that foot ends up angling at about a 45 degree. Lift your toes, flex them, and then spin onto the outer edge of the foot as that right knee drops open to the right head. Keep the heart lifting. Okay, then you can stay right here. Or you might start to lean back and take that right arm on the right thigh and gently press your right thigh away from your chest and gently lean back away from your right side.
That's it. Oh, we both get one piece. Then get more.
Set the right hand down. Set the right foot back flat. Start to walk your left hip back over your knee. Flip your right toes up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Okay, so from here, take that right leg behind you. Land back into your tabletop, re-flatten the hands. Inhale, tailbone rises, heart rises, crown extend, shoulders drop. Exhale, curl it. Girls, take it outside, take it outside. Round in.
This looks so good.
Inhale, open the front of the body. Exhale and round. And inhale, neutral. Okay. Take your left leg back now. Toes pressing into the earth. Heel extended back. Lifting the back of that leg. Biceps are spinning forward. Belly and ribs are in.
Yeah. Come on, let's go. It's hard to penetrate them.
From here, take that right foot and angle it out to the right. Spin your left heel down and come onto your left fingertips. Press your right hip up into your left, and then maybe extend your right or your left arm up. Hips are lifted. You're pressing into the outer edge of that left foot. You're breathing into the side body. From here, spin the palm towards the front of your mat and stretch over your ear. And as you do that, bow out your ribs and breathe into the ribs. Stretch the whole side body. And then from here, as you exhale, just let that arm spin around in front until it lands fingertips to the floor. Spin back to the left toes, right ankle behind the knee, and then set the left hand flat. Firm into your core, firm into the ribs and the belly, and lift that left leg. Then from here, ribs and belly in, bring your knee to hover above the ground, knee to knee. Take the leg out to the left, keep spinning it around till the foot points up, knee to knee. One more time this way. Out to the side, spin it around, take it up and down, and then go the other way. Take the leg back, keep the belly firm here so you're not compromised in the low back at all. It's all in the hip, and try not to lean over to the right here. Good. And then bring it in. From here, take that leg back, lift up onto your fingertips, inhale, or sit up as you bring that left knee into your chest, and then step it forward. And then curl the right toes under and send the knee back so you're long in your lunge. Take an inhale, lift your heart, drop your shoulders. Keep that front foot and back shin dragging towards one another and the belly lifting. Good. And then go ahead and set your left hand inside the left foot and heel toe the foot out just slightly to the left so the left hand has space to land under your shoulder. And then spin the toes at a diagonal to the left and flex them. Then from here, spin onto the outer edge of that left foot and maybe let the knee open. Now, there should be no pain in the knee, and if there is, then keep the foot flat. Adjust so that you're really taking care of your body. And then you can stay here or start to spin your heart open. Take your left hand to your left thigh. Gently press that left thigh out and away as you lean back. Good. And then left hand comes down. Left foot comes flat and forward. Walk your fingertips back until your right hip lands over your right knee and the left toes spin to face the ceiling. So you're wide in your pyramid. Inhale, the heart is forward, and exhale, just walk the hands a little bit forward. So you're inside the leg. And then from here, exhale, take that leg back, land back in your tabletop, set the hands back down again, another cat-cow. If you want to work on the strength in your hands, keep up on the fingertips and take your cat-cow on fingertips. And then inhale, neutralize the spine. Okay, now curl the toes under. Option 1, stand on your knees and start to lower back. Maybe you have something to sit on. Maybe you come all the way down to your heels and then take your hands and even spread out the pinky toes so that the whole foot is opening. Then inhale, stand up, stretch up. On the exhale, we're going to bring the right leg forward again. This time with a little more balance. Keep the arms up, uncurl the toes, and then start to send your right sit bone towards your right heel. Keep the heart lifting your belly in, and breathe. And we're going to set the hands down, sink back into that pyramid now, but now your ankle's directly in front of your hip. Your toes are spinning back to your chest. This is a really nice place to have something to set your hands on. Okay. Now we're going to intensify this, so go slow, see how it feels. Take your right hand a little bit further out to the right. Take your left hand outside your right leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. So this is a little bit more intense, and if it's too intense, you're right here. Otherwise, you're right here. Send that right hip back. Send your heart forward. Keep your kneecaps super active to support your hamstring. Unwind that. From here, walk yourself back forward into your lunge, but keep your fingers on the floor this time. Right foot comes flat. Keep your left hand down and inhale, float your right arm up. And then exhale, set that right hand inside your right foot and send your right foot back into your tabletop. Walk the hands back under the shoulders and take a cat-cow. Inhale, neutral, curl the toes under. Exhale, stand up or sit back for a breath. Inhale, rise up, arms up. Exhale, left foot steps forward. Take an inhale, stretch tall, uncurl the toes and press the top of the foot down. Exhale, draw the front foot and back shin towards one another as you sink in perhaps. Pull the belly and the ribs in. Up tall, so you're opening the front of the hip now. And then exhale, set the hands down, shift back into your half split, right hip right over the right knee, flip your left toes up. Inhale, lengthen the spine, shoulders are drawing back, kneecap is drawing back, toes are drawing back. And then this might be plenty. Or left hand moves just slightly out to the left, right hand comes outside that left shin. Draw the left hip back, draw the heart forward. Your girl's feeling better? Unwind that. Bring yourself back into that lunge with the left foot flat and the hands on the floor. Right hand's going to stay down. Inhale, left arm's going to float up. And then exhale, that left hand's going to come inside the left foot and the foot's going to come back. Back into your tabletop. Take one more round of cat-cow here, inhaling and exhale. Inhale, neutral. From here, curl your toes under. firm into your hands, so especially the fingertips and the patting of the base of the fingers. Spin your biceps forward and exhale, hover your knees off the ground. They're like a centimeter or two off the ground. So you're feeling your core engage here. If that feels like too much, keep the knees a little bit on the ground or all the way on the ground. That's fine too. So just a little bear here. Good, and then set the knees down. Take the knees back now. Keep the shoulders over the wrists. Lower your hips, but pull your belly in. So it's like you're in a high plank on your knees. And then exhale, uncurl the toes, widen the knees, let the big toes touch, sink into a wide child's pose. Hips to the heels, heart and forehead to the earth.
It doesn't matter. Please, I like this.
Okay, and then inhale, roll up. We're gonna come standing. If you have a way that works for your body to stand up, you're welcome to go there. Otherwise, bring the knees together, curl the toes under again. As long as your knees are okay with this, roll over your feet and your ankles and your feet as well. And then we're just gonna lift the hips and come into a forward fold. Keep the knees super bent. Separate the feet to hip distance and let your head and neck go. Torso's just resting on the thighs here. Head is heavy to the earth. And then firm into your core, firm into your legs, and start to roll yourself all the way up to stand. Beautiful. Okay, once you land upright in a mountain pose, stack your bones so the feet are hip distance and parallel. The hips are above the ankles, the shoulders above the hips. And the head balancing right between your shoulders. Roll those shoulders down and back. Spin the palms forward for a moment. Close your eyes here. Just take a moment to feel into your feet. Anchor down into the earth. Feel that connection, that rooting, that foundation. And then from there, with that strong sense of being connected, of being rooted, start to rise up and expand out. Okay, then slide the eyes open. We're going to come into a little bit of a challenging balance. So if you have a wall or a chair handy, you might want to go by that. We're going to come into a figure 4 balance. So you're going to shift the weight into the right leg and just pick up your left knee. Slide your hands, if you can, under your thigh. So around the hamstring. And your inner lace, so you create kind of this hammock for your leg, and then let the leg heavy into your hand. Just let it heavy. But keep the shoulders down and back. So don't let the leg pull you forward. Stay upright. Stay firm in your core. Heavy in your legs. Okay. And then flex the foot. And from here, start to bend into your right leg. Release that hammock and cross the ankle over. So you have now the shin parallel to the top of the mat. Then you're going to start to sit back like you're going into a chair. This is where a wall is nice to have. So flex that lifted leg, stick your bum back so that your standing knee stays over the ankle. Hands are just going to be at the heart, at the hips, or out to the side, anywhere that feels good, or holding onto your chair. Okay, lifted leg is flexing. Tailbone and bum's going back, belly's lifting up, knee is moving forward and down. And then if you're holding on to something, play around with that, lifting your hands. Hover your hands and see if you can find a second of balance. Good, and then come all the way up. Bring that leg back up, create that hammock again, heavy the leg, roll the shoulders back, just extend that leg. Point, flex, point, flex, good. And then bend your standing leg and you're going to step this front leg in front and at a diagonal so they're crossed. And then draw that left hip back so your hip stays squared forward. Inhale, take the arms up, take the right hand in your left wrist, the right wrist in your left hand and reach over to the left. And then unwind that, release the hands. Step the feet back to hip distance and parallel. Shake out the legs. Let's do this on the other side. So shift the weight into the left foot, soften the knee just a little bit. Exhale, pull the right knee up, interlace your hands behind or at the back of the thigh, and then shoulders back, heavy the leg. Breathe here. And then flex that lifted leg, release that clasp and let the ankle cross over. And then you're gonna bend the standing leg to create that kind of shelf for the leg. And then you're gonna hold on to something or find your balance and sit your bum back. Flex this foot a lot, send this knee forward and down, send your bum back. Try and keep your hip right behind your knee. So sometimes it wants to kind of flare out to the side. Draw it in and back, draw the belly in, take the arms wherever it works for them to be. Then to come out, start to stand up, bring that knee back up, re-interlace your hands, heavy the leg again. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, kick the leg out. Point and flex the foot. Good. And then bend the knee. You're going to take this leg, step it in front and across. And obviously you can step, take steps to get there. Then draw that right hip back so you're squaring forward. Take the arms up. Grab the left wrist with your right hand. Stretch it up and over to the right. And if this doesn't feel stable, just come with your feet hip distance parallel. That's fine. It's like just a little fancier way of doing this. And then unwind that. Release the arms. Bring the feet back to hip distance. Let's inhale. We're going to take just a forward fold. So this is another place where some height is nice for your hands. But inhale, stretch up. Exhale, take a forward fold. So knees can bend. If you can get your hands onto something, that's ideal. Whether that's the floor or it's a book or it's a water bottle, all good. But ideally you have something to put your hands in. Then from here, you're going to walk your hands over to the left and bend your left knee. And then you're going to stick your right hip out to the right and send it back away from your right shoulder, and then just let your head go. And then send the breath all the way down through that right side. Okay, and then come back through center. Straightening that left leg. Start to bend your right leg and walk your hands out to the right. Send your left hip back away from your left shoulder and a little out to the left, ribs out to the left, head heavy. Okay. And then come back through center and just pedal out the knees like you're walking up the hips, side to side. Keep the belly strong as you do this. Let the head go. And come down to your knees. And we're going to lay on our backs for Shavasana. I'm feeling like it might not be as quiet of a Shavasana as we're used to, but we're going to do our best. So help yourself to lie on down. Hug both knees into the chest and just rock side to side. And then with the knees together, take some circles on the ceiling with your knees. And go the other way. And then take the knees wide to your shoulders. And you can stay here, or if you want to take a happy baby, you might flip the feet up to the ceiling. But if that feels like too much, just stay right here and let yourself rock side to side. And then bring the knees together and the feet down and together, and then let the knees, you can support the outer thighs with your hands, or you can add a little bit of more stretch by placing your hands on your inner thighs. Either way, close your eyes. Lengthen your tailbone. Draw the shoulders out of the ears. We're going to take 3 cleansing breaths here. So just how we started, with a big inhale through the nose. Fill up. Think about breathing into the back of the ribs, the side of the ribs, and the front. So the whole diaphragm fills up. So fill up, inhale. And exhale out the mouth. 2 more like that. Inhale, fill up that full circumference of the diaphragm all the way around, filling up. And exhale, emptying out. One more time. Big inhale, fill up. And exhale, let it go. From here, find your way into your final resting pose, Shavasana. Legs can extend or knees can bend in that constructive rest. You can have a pillow under your legs. You could be seated. Find a place where you can let go and rest.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I'm gonna be done in like 3 minutes. Once you settle in, let the whole body start to drop into the earth. Feel that sensation of being held by the earth, fully supported. As your body integrates all of that prana, that life force energy you've created, that love and that compassion that you've nourished your body with this practice. Let it soak in, saturate your being. And then let everything go and just rest. Be Received by M. Claire. Move slowly from these old skins. Your belly is raw. Your back is tender. You are rudimentary now. Move softly from these old skins. Let the full body weight of all your innocence down. Be received. Be received by the broad earth of your worthiness. Cast off everything everyone else has known for you. Move gratefully from these old skins. And this time, if you toughen, decide for whom. I encourage you to stay and rest in Shavasana for as long as you are able. May we be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May we be awakened to the light of our true nature. May we be healed. May we be a source of healing and kindness and compassion and love for all beings. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay and rest as long as you can. Namaste.